Hello everyone! Welcome. What is going on? Monday night, 16th of the 6th. Welcome to the live stream. What's going on? Howdy Jack. This inside joke has gone on for too long. My name is Jake. How's everyone's weekend been? Top of the evening. Welcome everyone. Skid. UK Reef. There's some new names in here, I think. Welcome. How about this? Look at this from Millhouse. I got this in the post the other day. I thought someone sent something in a post. I thought I haven't ordered something. I haven't ordered anything. I wonder if it's someone trying to poison me. And I opened it up. And it's a 3D printed lamp. A game changer lamp. I thought that was awesome. Thank you, Millhouse. I don't know if he's watching. Oh, there he is. Thank you so much. That's very cool of you. Hello, Sausage. Rich, welcome. I've been working with Rich today. We've been doing a big old 380 square meters of block paving we cleaned. And would you believe it? We had it done by midday. We had it cleaned and chemically treated by 12 o'clock, which I think is very impressive, personally. This is the job. Can I go back? This is the job, look. Big old block paving jobby. By the way, we're going to be joined by Macintosh today, A.E.Mackingtosh, to talk about roof cleaning and all things regarding roofs. I'm sure he does driveways and patios and stuff as well. So we're going to dig in and deep dive a bit of roof cleaning. If anyone's got any questions and stuff for Ashley, hopefully he'll have the live stream up so he can see your questions. And yeah, let's keep it all respectful. And Matt, I think Matt is going to be moderating the chat. So just careful what you're saying, because Matt will delete you. He'll delete you from the face of the earth. Matt GPT, he's quick on it, he's hot. But he'll hopefully, I think he'll be taking down some questions and stuff. So if I miss stuff in the chat that I think would be useful to ask Ashley, he's gonna DM me the good questions, just in case we get a bit of time later on. Can't promise anything, we might not. Look at this tree root, man, that I was taking out today. I had to get my angle grinder on it. You know, in some jobs you just think, wish I hadn't said yes. There was like 3 big tree roots coming up through the block paving on this driveway that we're resanding today, and I said I'd sort it out, but I sort of wish I hadn't. One of them jobs. Do you have AE on or what? Yes, he'll be joining me shortly, I think. Hopefully, I sent him the link and stuff, so hopefully he'll click the link, join the Discord within the next few minutes, and we can get rolling. Would love a longer interview with Nyclean, one of these lives. That's a great idea. Shay from Nyclean. That is a great idea. Matt's warming up the banhammer. Yes. Yeah, Shay, if you're watching, or if anyone ends up sending this, it seems like every time I mention Shay's name, someone sends in the clip. But if you're watching, I'd definitely be down to chat to you. Does anyone have any recommendations for hypo-resistant worktops? Too many stained polos? Yes. 100% polyester, I think it is, that you need. And that should sort you out. That's what I've got. I'm pretty sure that's what I've got. Ray, welcome. How can I persuade a customer not to have their driveway sealed? Try and upsell hard setting sand. If it's block paving, say you can get very similar benefits from hard setting sand. If that's all you're focused on, is trying to reduce the time it's going to, or extend the time it's going to take before the weeds start coming back. You can't promise that the weeds are never going to come back, but you know, set their expectations and say they'll always come back. But if we brush some hard setting sand in, some pro joint poly sweep, which is what we use today, it's similar to sealing. It'll set that sand hard between the joints, and it'll definitely help. That's why I need you and Jakey on the repointing quick time. Yeah, sorry about that, mate. It's just, you know, with these repointing jobs, it's like, it's got to be worth it. And for me to, I wouldn't just be able to give you a day rate on it, because it's so labor intensive, and driving that far to do a job for someone else to make a lot less money than we'd make ordinarily. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not really worth it for us, unfortunately. Thanks for the offer though. Thanks for all the tips and tricks. You're very welcome, mate. You're very welcome. Does anyone have any recommend? Also, Jake, the system I sent you the other day, new things come in. Oh, nice. Yeah, we were talking about drawing water from your tank, from your pressure washing tank, through like a deionizing. It's not deionizing. Yes, it is. Filter, or a couple of them, straight through a 12-volt pump. So you can use your buffer tank for pressure washing and to get spotless water from. It's not like pure water, but I think you could achieve like decent. If window cleaning isn't your main profession, I think you could achieve decent water from it, depending on your area. What render cleaning product do you use? Generally hypo or biocide. Wasn't coming on tonight, but now I've got my popcorn. Hopefully it'll be a good one. It would just be the actual application of the Nexus. I will pay your rates. Yeah, I mean the same thing. It's a tough job. It's hard work. 50k in a bacon butty. There you go. What's the best product for limestone? In terms of cleaning it, I would recommend Max Clean Pro from Pure Seal. It's like a heavy duty concentrated degreaser with biocide in it, and it's a product that you rinse off. You apply it, leave it, rinse it, and then if it's black limestone, you could even do a limestone restorer. So give it a couple of days, wait till everything's dried out nicely, and you can roll on a black limestone restorer. Probably don't want to do it with other types of limestone, like you get like all different colors. But if it's like, if you know it should be black and the surface is faded because of weathering, or if dogs have weed on it and it's like stained the surface, because any sort of acid or harsh alkali can discolor or dissolve the surface. And so you can restore that with a black limestone restorer, which you can get from either Pure Seal or Smart Seal. My setup does that pure water from my pressure washing tank. Nice. How did you get on with it? What sort of pump do you need to be able to push water through like two of those resin filters? Does it need to be a super strong pump, or can it just be like a little 12-volt pump, like a Gardner backpack pump, for example? 120 meters squared, decent drainage, block pave, off the dome. What are you charging? Let's have a look. Oh, my website says it's not secure. What do we say? 120. And now I'm at about £4.50 per square metre, so including the resanding and a chemical treatment, about £5.40 roughly, but it depends on the level of service you're offering. If you're not going to do a chemical treatment, if Depends on the level of service you're offering. Good drainage, good water pressure, yeah, shouldn't be too difficult. You could probably, on your own, generally, based on like a 15 or a 21 litre per minute machine, you'll get between like 150 to 200 square meters done of block paving. That's accounting for all the time it's going to take you to scoop up all the waste and stuff. We did 308, I think it was 380 square meters today between three of us, which I thought was cool. By 12 o'clock. Smelt.club, by the way, if anyone wants to use this quoting tool, Smelt.club, it's there, it's down at the bottom of your screen there, look. It might give you a hand with like your resanding, the cost of sealing. You can put your sealing prices in here from the manufacturer, and then that'll work out how much you need to buy, you know, based on their coverage that they state and how many coats you need. It'll tell you sort of what you need, so some people might find that useful. I charge 460 with the chemical treatment. I kind of thought good money with my 21 litre per minute. 10 bags ready. Yeah. That job was a nice little payday. It has been. We still need to go back and resand it, but yes. 5.5 litre, 120 psi, 12 volt. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Your site requires SSL certificate. Okay. I guess I'll figure out how to do that one day. Maybe. Is Ashley around? Let's have a look. Not yet. Just waiting for him to join the Discord, and then we can add each other as a friend, and then we can get into the roof cleaning portion of the live stream. Craig, not tonight, mate. Keep those comments to yourself. That pump runs through 3 water filters, then double DI and 80 meters of hose and a 30-foot pole. Jeez, that's good, isn't it? That is good. Is this going to be annoying? Oh no. That can go there. You can go there. Do 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 do. I get so many emails every day and messages from people saying they've noticed mistakes on my website and they'd like to give me a new one. Build me a new one. Who else gets those emails? I'm sure it's not just me. If anyone's got any questions for Ashley, Matt is going to be moderating the chat tonight, and he's going to grab those good questions and he's going to send them to me in a DM. So, Mick, jeez, crazy! Thank you so much for the £10. Was trying my new machine out today. All starts great and water pressure's fine, but after 1 minute of using my lance, the engine gets hot and starts smoking. Triple checked fuel/oil levels. Any ideas, pal? Is there a chance that you're over fueling it? Is there a chance that you're not turning the choke off? So you engage the choke when you start the machine to give it more fuel because it's cold, and then after 5 to 10 seconds you can turn that choke off. If you've got the choke on still, you're over fueling the machine, and that's going to cause it to smoke out of the exhaust and probably get too hot. And if you've got a machine that doesn't have a return to tank bypass and you're off the trigger for too long, the small amount of water that's circulating around in your pump is just going to get hotter and hotter, and it's eventually going to cause damage, which is why it's good to have, which generally, if you need to come off the trigger for more than like 3 or 4 minutes, I'd just turn your machine off. Oh, Ashley's joined. Here we go. Add friend. Ashley, if you're watching, you'll need to accept my friend request so we can become best mates. And then I can video call you, I think. Oh, this is all very last minute. We only spoke on Friday. And Ashley wasn't sure whether he was going to do it or not because I think he was very busy. And then texted me this morning to say he can do it. So, but I've been working all day, so I've had to sort of quickly get some questions together, and we haven't had a test run like we normally would do. So normally if we have a guest on, we do like a little pre-test run to make sure everything's working, make sure there's no audio issues and stuff. But we've not done that this time, so we're going to be flying off the cuff. Do. Outgoing friend request. We've got a limestone restoration job. I'm going to be doing it tomorrow on my day off. You can go into your Discord. Right. Be working in people's houses for 20 plus years, and that's never happened, Luke. What's Luke talking about? What's he saying? Boys, genuine question. Between us all, the jobs we have done, any bored housewives? Oh my god. Yeah, the website thing, they always criticize my website saying they found loads of mistakes, which I don't think is a very good way of selling a service to someone. Your website's crap, I need to fix it for you. How about, your website looks cool, but I think I can improve it. And they all just seem to be copy and pasted from like different accounts. It's like the exact same message that I get through from 10 different email addresses. What pipe connector do you use to connect your WaterTech switch tip mini QR 10mm barb to your gun? Oh, so you've got the barb fitting on your X-Jet. Yeah, you need to undo that. And I think, can't remember whether AC pressure washers or Rutland pumps. We discussed it last week on the live stream. You can screw in a little quick release fitting. Can I start a video call? Oh, I think I can. I think I can. Oh, I think I got it. Allow. There we go. That might be working now. Your camera's connected. Does your website price roof cleans by the meter squared? No, but you can. I mean, you can use it for that. I would just account for the pitch. By the way, thank you so much, Mick, for the £10 donation. That's crazy. That doesn't happen very often. So very much appreciated. So with regards to roof cleaning, we should actually ask Ashley about roof cleaning prices, because what I tend to do is Google Earth, measure the perimeter, get the area meter squared, and then multiply it by the pitch of the roof. So if it's like a 45-degree pitch, you want to multiply that area by 1.5. If it's a bit shallower, you can do like 1.4, 1.3, and if it's really shallow, maybe 1.1 or 1.2. And then that'll give you like a true, more accurate representation of the actual meters squared. Because if you imagine taking a bird's eye view of that, if it's like a piece of paper and then you fold it out, the actual square meter is just going to be higher. So I've been asked to clean, regrout and seal Indian sandstone. Is it best to seal then grout, or grout then seal? 100% seal then regrout. So grind it, clean it, wait a couple of days, seal it, wait a couple of days, repoint it. Because anything you use to repoint the patio is going to leave a residue on the surface of the slabs, and that can impede the impregnation of the sealer. You may need to apply like a stripper to get rid of all that residue before you end up sealing it, which is just unnecessary. It's an annoying job. So definitely seal it first. He's in. We're in, but I can't. Oh, I'm on your Discord. Yes, you just. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Is it a bad idea to run your low pressure hose reel bolted in your van or run it outside? I know you flooded your van. Yeah, it does scare me, to be honest. I think we're going to have a van mounted low pressure hose reel on the next build, but it does worry me, because if you get a customer's tap that's got insane water pressure and it's pushing out like 25-30 liters a minute, and then you've got your float valve turning on and off, because every time you pull the trigger it draws some water from the tank, but then the float valve quickly tops that water up again. Your hose reel is going to be like rocking back and forwards, and it has the potential to like loosen stuff. And every single low pressure hose reel I've owned, every single one, and I've owned like 5 or 6 now, have all leaked. And so why would one that's mounted in my van, like, why would it'll be a more expensive reel, so maybe, hopefully not, I don't know. Craig, thank you so much. 23-month membership from Craig. Oh, here we go. We're good. I'm so hot. Christ. Turn my camera on. Testing. Video. Earphones. Voice activity. Thank you, Craig. Would be real nice. I did 2 shop fronts and 8 houses and a small flat. Took 265 quid on Friday. I took 200. I don't know what you're saying there. Sorry, mate. Question for Ashley: is he still window cleaning? Failed to start camera. Oh, I think he's in. Can you hear me, mate? I think he's in. He's a week behind me. 24 months incoming. Measure 1. Spend some of your cash on aircon, Jake. No chance. For the 3 days a year that we get good weather, I don't think so. Is it? I read that one already. Thinking about grabbing a window cleaning round in the future every 2 weeks. What are we saying in terms of income? See, some people like 2 weeks, some people like every month, and some people like every 6 weeks. And I don't think I can be bothered to offer something different to every customer. You know what I mean? Can someone please recommend the best oil stain remover from block paving? There's a couple out there. You could look at Pure Seal, you could look at Smart Seal. Screwfix do like a no-nonsense degreaser, which is pretty good. I've used that in the past. But you need to set the customer's expectations. It very much depends on the type of oil that's been spilled, how long it's been there, the surface type, the porosity of the surface. I'd never make any promises when it comes to oil stains. You need to account for like multiple applications, not just one. Coiled up like a spring, Jake. Me? You reckon? Bonsoon, what's going on? You guys are crazy. Cheers for all your help on the Discord. Looking at my equipment spreadsheets, have a beer on me. Oh, mate, thank you. I'm actually 0% at the minute. I'm doing 12 months sober. Thank you so much for the donation. Ashley, can you hear me? Test, test, test. Hello? Test. We're in a call together, but I don't see or hear him. Oh, the cat's in here. Why is the cat in here? My son's got allergies, so she shouldn't be in here. Test, test, test. Ashley, can you hear me, mate? Hey! I heard him. I'm starting to nod off. I'm sorry. I put a picture in the Discord ceiling channel. Would love everyone's opinion. Jake, is it your mic? No, my mic's on. I can see the activity when I talk in Discord.
Check. Check.
Yay, there he is. I can hear you.
How to check voice input.
Ashley, are you muted? Are you? Is your audio muted by any chance? Is your
Video.
Jake, the music's making me zone out. I'm sorry. 0% beer is like having... Okay. Okay, Luke. God, it's hot. Is anyone else hot? What's Matt saying? Pretty warm out, innit? We've done some... we did some block magic this week, last week. And it was like 260 odd square meters of like recoloring a driveway. And it was just... We tried using a airless sprayer. And it was just like in the heat and faffing about with the sprayer. and masking up the house. It just didn't work. We're doing a video on it, and it's just it was a good experience. Like, I'm glad I tried it, but never again. That Trackhawk was awesome. I know, crazy car. Millhouse, thank you so much for my present, mate. Very cool of you. Very cool indeed. That's the first bit of like YouTuber, what would you call it? Viewer, like a viewer gift, I suppose, that I've had. You reckon the spray is shite then? It's not. It's just not appropriate for that job, I don't think. Hello.
Do you need the window open a bit more?
Yeah, it's boiling. Yeah, I'm going to open it a bit more.
Roasted.
Oh. What's better, the Sika setting sand or the Pro Joint? I haven't used the Sika stuff, to be honest. I didn't know there was any. Like jointing sand. I've only used the Pro Joint stuff. Thank you for the coffee from earlier.
I hear him either.
Hello, I can hear you. How do you join the Discord? You can use a link, which I'll put in the chat right now. Give me a sec. He's teasing you, maybe. I'm on the edge of my seat. Where'd you get Pro Joint from? I've got a local garden centre that stock it. I actually picked up like 21 bags today. Yeah, luckily I've got like a fairly local one. It's about 15 minutes away. How much? It's about £30 a bag, but they do me like a little trade discount. And I got it for like £27 a bag. I've just posted the link in the Discord to join the channel if anyone's interested. In the live chat, sorry, not in the Discord. Test. Can you hear me now? Test. It's like Christmas, waiting for Father Christmas to bring you goodies. I know you're on the edge of your seat. We're in the chat. We're in the thing, but we can't hear each other. I can hear him, but he can't hear me. Hi, buddy. Where did I see that? Oh, I've already read that. He must have done a live chat before, surely. This is Discord. It's a Discord issue. It's not a YouTube issue. Jakey's going on holiday next week, and I'm trying to get like the big jobs sorted before he leaves. So I've just got like an easy week next week because I'm dreading it, to be honest. Working on my own again. Right, I'm going to end the call. Join the call again. Test. Test. Hello. Come in. Just put a acrylic seal down for the first time. Nice stuff. Well done. Call me, Jake, and I'll flop my hose around for a few hours. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a device issue because it's not loading his camera either. I can see my activity. Let me just jump on a call with Matt just to make sure it's not me. Dale, thank you so much for joining.
Testing, 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 testing,
Here he
testing,
is.
testing, 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 testing.
See, it works with Matt.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I said that way too many times, sorry.
That's okay. Can you actually hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Okay, so it's not me. All right, thanks, mate.
Jeez.
Bye. Right, let's join back Ashley again. Hey, I see ya. I can see ya. Hey. Can you hear me?
So, if you can hear me,
Yes.
I can't hear you. Though.
Ah, bollocks.
And I don't know why.
Check your little headphone in the bottom left-hand corner. Check
I'm thinking
your headphone.
maybe I have to allow audio. Jake, I can come and motivate you. I won't help, but I will judge you. Thanks, mate. Regan, you cowboy. What's Regan been doing? Voice and video.
Oh, I see. So this week we've got hard setting sand to do. We've got another job where it's like a limestone sealer. We've got another job where it's like 380 square meters of resanding to do. We've got another one where we're cleaning, repointing a patio with Nexus Titan and doing the drive with hard setting sand. And then we've got another one where we're doing block magic on 260 square meters and doing hard setting silver sand on that one as well. All this week. So it's like my brain's fried at the minute. That's a good question, Craig. That is a very good question. Got kicked out. Did anyone answer about the dwell times, people's methods in the heat? Are you talking about hypo? Plenty of surfactant. Keep the surface wet with surfactant, with whatever product you're applying. Keep applying it. Keep agitating it. How's the van going? The van's okay, I think. It's doing everything we want it to do at the moment. The only thing we're changing about the van soon is we're going to be taking Jakey's machine off of his trolley, and we're going to be taking it off of, you know, his frame and building it onto my van mounted setup, and having like two good high pressure hose reels and one big proper low pressure hose reel. Everything's mounted in the van, so it's going to be super quick and easy just to get going. What are you charging per square meter on pointing? I'm at £32. Would you say that's too low? £32 per square meter for repointing. Are you doing it traditionally? because that seems wild. That seems like a lot. Yeah, Craig's at 20. I'm at around between like 17 and 20. Yeah. No video today. No, we're recording stuff, but nothing ready to post, unfortunately. Maybe I need to push it to 25. Maybe 32 quid is incredible money. It is. How many are you landing at 32 quid per square meter? I also relay any loose slabs and replace the cracked ones. Is that included in the price then? Because I don't relay slabs. I'm not a landscaper. I'm a pressure washer. So I take it with 2 machines set up in the one van, you're going to stay as a team? Yes. For now. For now. When is Jakey getting a van? I don't think he is at the minute. It's too expensive to insure him on a van. So it just doesn't.
Got you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes. Oh my
Amazing.
god. What on earth? What was it?
No, sorry, I've never used this before.
That's
so
okay.
It's like, and I thought this was happening, and I was here like 10 minutes early trying to set it up and log into the account and set up an account and give it access to, you have to allow access to the microphone, allow access to the camera, all this stuff. And it's taken me like half an hour.
Oh, sorry. What was it in
like
the end?
Such an old man.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. If we had this organized like weeks in advance, we could have done a test run and like probably avoided all this, but it was quite short notice, wasn't it?
Yeah, and apologies for that. That's my fault, really. And I'm not very good in the evenings. I try not to like do work stuff in the evenings because otherwise my life is just all work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you have a similar thing probably where you work all day and then you like doing video stuff in the evening. And
yeah, I'm struggling to find a balance between working like from like 8:30 till 4 or 5ish at the moment because we're quite busy. We normally finish at about 2, but now like in midsummer it's like 4 or 5, and then I'm spending like two hours of an evening just catching up with admin, and it's just like, surely this isn't it.
Yeah, exactly. So in the end I've tried to be quite like calls, for example. I won't take any calls in the evening ever. So I just try and like draw a line for myself and set my own kind of parameters on what I want to do. And
yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me at such short notice. This was very impromptu. Do you want to? I don't know if you want to introduce yourself before we start. I've got your name under on the screen so people can see your YouTube channel and stuff. But if you wanted to,
cool. So is this what happens here? Is this recording now live?
This is live. We've got a chat full of, there's about 100 people in the chat at the minute.
Okay.
You might be able to, if you've got like another device, you'll be able to pull up the live stream if you want me to send you a link to the live stream.
See. Okay.
Well, and then it gets the live stream then gets like saved onto YouTube afterwards, so people can rewatch it if they missed it or whatever.
Right. Okay. So I'm A.E.Mackingtosh. You may know me from YouTube for something like 12 years. I think I've been making YouTube videos for 29 years. This year I've been running my own business, exterior cleaning business, which I've built up from a window cleaning round, which I literally started from canvassing, and it's just grown literally from nothing. In fact, yeah. So I've gradually progressed into other areas of exterior cleaning and grown my YouTube channel, testing out different bits of equipment, sharing my experiences, working with different brands in the industry.
Do you advertise at the minute, or is it just your YouTube that's like generating work for you?
I haven't done no. So if we want to talk about marketing, I'd love to talk about marketing,
Mm-hmm.
but different kinds of marketing. All my marketing is basically social media based marketing, and that's how my business runs now.
So it's like
Basically,
free marketing essentially. It's just posting stuff on social media and it generates leads.
yeah, well, it depends what you class as free, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Because I always think time is money, and so time is a cost in my mind. Like, how much time does something take?
Mhm.
So it's my own time and effort. Yeah, posting stuff on social media and YouTube and all of that stuff. I've put in quite a lot of time and money into developing my website as well over the years. That's been something that I've developed, I suppose, over a long time.
What's the
For
name of
me,
the
that's how
website,
it
just
works.
so I can pull it up for people if they want to have a look?
A.E.Mackingtosh.com. It's literally just A.E.Mackingtosh.com. So on there is like the hub of my exterior cleaning business. There's also a page there for my training as well. Um, so so yeah, that's kind of the hub of all information.
Oh, I like the video
I've
on the
also
front
got
page. That's pretty cool. I've just started putting videos on my front page, but they're like YouTube videos. They're not embedded like this. I like that idea actually.
yeah. So websites with video content will always rank higher organically because YouTube and Google are owned by the same company. So Google will favor videos that have YouTube content on them.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's a nice little trick straight away to kind of like boost your website a little bit. It's not necessary just because you've got a YouTube video on your website, it's not necessarily going to get you on the first page.
Yeah,
But it's something that'll definitely help.
that's cool. So, but like now, it seems most of the videos you post on YouTube now are predominantly roof cleaning. Is that what percentage would you say of exterior cleaning are you doing? Like, what are the proportions? What are the ratios?
So my priority is roof cleaning.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we are roof cleaning every single week. So
How
that's
many would you? Is there like a limit as to how many you try and take on per week? Because after a roof
so it's
clean,
just,
I am battered. After one roof clean, I'm like,
yeah,
one a
absolutely.
week is enough for me.
Exactly. So that's why I only book in one a week, and I've
Yeah.
set myself that, and the way I run my business is how I want my business to run, and I set myself how much time I want to use during the week for my business, and how much I want to work in my business. I don't have, like I have in the past had people working for me. So my window cleaning round, as it's grown, I had other people doing my window cleaning round, so I could then do the other more lucrative kind of jobs that would bring in the bigger chunks of money. But then just looking after that, scheduling it and all that kind of stuff became a bit of a headache. So I've gradually sort of sold off my window cleaning round. And so just to focus on the roof cleaning, because I'm always nervous about, some of these other jobs, and I say that always with pressure washing, paving, or whatever it is, gutter cleans, all these additional things to my window cleaning round are all a bit more sporadic, or they hinge more on your marketing being effective. And the great thing I always say about window cleaning is that it's every month, and it's like guaranteed income every month.
So you still got a regular window cleaning round that you do?
So not really. No, I've
Okay.
got like a handful of sort of valued customers that I've had for like years and years,
Right.
which I still just look after one.
And
I've been round recently and done them all, and I haven't, like, I'm literally months behind doing them because I'm just so busy with other stuff. So if I can book in a roof cleaning job that's like 2 or 3 days job, that's sorted for me. And me
Yeah.
and Riley will go and do that.
That's your son.
And then yeah, Riley, my son, yeah.
I don't understand how people. I can understand how people like maintain a window cleaning round throughout the winter, potentially, and then, but then when summer hits and everyone's getting in touch to have their driveways cleaned and their patios done, I don't understand how you can still provide like a good regular window cleaning service for like an established business. Maybe someone who's just started could. Do you know what I mean?
We're juggling everything and fitting everything in.
Yeah.
So it's the way you manage your bookings, I would say. So you've got to make, at some point, you've got to make that decision, haven't you? Do I either take someone on to cope with the load of work, or do I let certain work drop off?
Yeah.
So the nervous thing for me was, okay, I'm going to be busy through the summer. So you work. So at first you kind of like you work long days. You try and fit everything in, and then as time has gone on, this is what I'm nervous about. You see, is like letting my window cleaning round go, and is the other work going to dry up?
Yeah, I feel that.
And then
I've wanted to focus certain services, things like patio restoration and stuff, which I really enjoy. It's hard work, but we enjoy it and we're quite good at it.
Yeah.
But I think if we just focus that one service, we also thought about like just cleaning solar panels, which is a horrible job now. Now that I think about it, it's a horrible job. But just focusing that one service, and then what do you do to the rest of the work that comes in? Do you just turn it down? Do you say I'm only going to do it certain times a year? Do you? Because it's so tempting to just take everything that comes your way or quote for everything that comes your way. At the moment, I've actually started turning down fascia and soffit cleaning because I just don't want to do it in the summer. Like maybe the winter, but it's just I've got other work that I'd rather be doing.
Yeah. So it's a balance, isn't it? Of, okay, what do I want to focus on with my business? What time do I want to put aside for various services in my business? And then just try and stick to that. So every customer that rings you, you don't have to jump and get that job done like immediately or as soon as you can. And I quite like actually when a customer inquiry comes in, I'll do a quote for it, and I might say to that customer, "This is the next slot I'm able to book you in," and it might be a month, and it might be a month away or more. And if they're not, if they really want me and my service, normally they're happy to wait. Or they might say, "That's fine. Please fit me in for that date. But if you get a cancellation, between that time, please fit me in sooner if you can." And so that's it. I set for myself. In fact, I work 4 days a week now, and I set myself that's the 4 days I'm going to work.
Yeah.
And so I'll only book in work for those days.
Are you doing admin on the other 3 days?
So try not to.
Yeah, same.
But realistically, I am. Yeah. But my son Riley's just completed a business administration apprenticeship with the business. So the idea is that he can now look after, well, he has been already looking after more of that administration. So inquiries.
That's useful.
He'll do some of the quotes. And then he also comes out on the tools with me, a couple of days a week as well.
That's important. I always thought if I'm going to hire an admin assistant or someone to take care of the quotes and stuff, they kind of need to be hands-on with the tools at some point because they need to see what we go through on a daily basis. They need to understand the types of jobs we're quoting and why we're quoting this sort of money for this particular job. Because you think of a roof cleaning, you think, you're just pressure washing, but you're up a bit higher. But I don't think a lot of people understand until they actually do their first one how bloody hard it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to have that understanding. But I will also check the quotes before they go off. So he's not left completely on his own to do it. But having said that, he has become more independent as time goes on, and the more he does, he then is able to do that a bit more independently. And hopefully that will continue to progress.
What do you include as part of like a standard roof clean? And we'll get into like the techniques and stuff in a bit, hopefully. How long have you got tonight? Because I didn't ask you that. Like, are you?
I was thinking of an hour or so.
All right. Well, just let me know when you're ready to like call it, because I normally just go until I can't think of anything else to say. So just let me know when you're ready, and we can.
I feel like we could be here for a long time.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Sometimes we're like 3-4 hours deep, and it's like, oh my god, where did that go?
Really?
Yeah. So with your standard roof cleaning service, what do you offer? When you selling that to the customer, what's included?
So for me, I think important to go back a few steps.
Mhm.
Like I think for a lot of people that I help as well in my training, I think it's important to understand that it's not just about the tools and equipment, and it's not just about that carrying out that service. But and I think some of the suppliers in the industry sell like business packages, and I hate it when they kind of label it as like a business package, and this is a bundle of equipment that's going to give you a business.
Yeah, it's
And
not
I
a
think
business package, is it? You're right, actually.
No, because something we talk about in the training is your customer journey, and that will give you understanding your customer journey will give you a whole much better rounded out way of understanding your business. So straight from the first contact your customer might have with your business, so that might be your branding. So having effective branding and the right kind of branding that you want to achieve for your business will convey a message to your customer. Whether you're more commercial, whether what specific service you provide, whatever it is. And then you'll have your marketing, which will take that message and kind of like expand on it a little bit, probably, to draw customers in to your business and give them a little bit more information, help them understand what specific aspects of your business or service that you provide. And then you'll have your sales process. So if all of that is working and you get to do a quote, what things are included in your sales process? Now, this is the part, to answer your question, where you get to say what's included in your service. Now, you could provide one quote, which would be one price, and this is what we include X, Y, Z. Or a nice technique, which I think is really good. Why don't you provide more than one price for your customer? So this is our basic price, and this is the basic service. This is the middle price, which includes a little bit more. This is the premium price, which would include the premium service.
That's interesting.
Now,
I'm struggling to think how you'd apply that to a roof, but I'm
for
interested.
roof cleaning, if I'm providing a pressure washing approach type service, well, first of all, it amazes me when I post something on social media and it's one of those satisfying transformations. How many people? It doesn't happen quite so much now, but how many people comment and say, "Oh, well done! Now the gutters are full up." And
Yeah,
it blows my mind to
or
think
you've damaged the roof,
someone assumed, yeah, or it's a roofer saying, "Oh, you've wrecked the roof," or it's
yeah, you're keeping me in work because I'll have to come and replace that roof in 2 years' time. Yeah,
yeah. So we'll come back to that, shall we? But yeah, I mean, if people assume that you're not going to clean out the gutters, that's bizarre to me. But I'll make sure I include that in the quote. But that could be a basic service, because there are some customers that are just looking for the cheapest possible price. So maybe you'll provide a price.
It's like
and I'm not saying you should do this, but you'd clean it without cleaning out the gutters.
It's like the people that comment and say, "Oh, you cleaned that drive, but you haven't resanded it." It's like, I just didn't film that bit. Like I did resand it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's people out there that are thinking. So you reckon there's customers out there that think? I mean, I suppose when they ask for a roof cleaning quote, they do say, "I'd like the roof cleaned and the gutters cleared out," and they do break it down separately quite often.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's interesting.
So, but what this does, providing a quote in 3 tiers, so to speak, what that does is it helps the customer to see the value of what you're actually doing.
But you'd never sell that lowest tier. You'd never sell a roof clean without cleaning the gutters out, surely.
Well, it's a sales technique,
right?
So statistically, if you provide 3 options, 9 times out of 10, well, I don't know what the exact statistics are, but the majority of the time, the customer will go for the middle price.
What if they choose number 1?
Well, that's up to them, isn't it?
But you just don't clear the gutters out.
Well, I never do this.
Right. Okay.
I'm just making it as a suggestion, because then if you provide the middle price, it's obviously be a little bit more expensive. However much more expensive it is, the customer can then see. And then you provide the premium price, which might include biocide treatment as well. So you clean out the gutters and the surrounding area, and you provide a biocide treatment. That would be the premium.
I also heard of
Now,
something recently called downselling. Well, I only ever heard of upselling, but downselling is when you start with the most premium service, and this is the top tier price. Gauge their reaction. Well, actually, we've also got the next one down, which is a little bit cheaper for you, and it includes this, this, and this. And it's like you hit them with the big number, and then you can come down to the medium one, like you say.
Yeah.
And I'd never heard of that before.
That's another technique, that you could use. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, the way I run my business is I always just want to provide the premium, really. And if we bring in enough customers and enough jobs doing that, then that's what we always prefer to do, and that's what we're busy doing. So
you're pressure washing the roof. You're ideally, well, you're cleaning the gutters out. Are you biocide in every job?
Yeah.
Have you ever
Every single
hypoed a
job.
roof? Just a quick one.
No.
Because there's one coming up where the biocide hasn't quite done what I wanted it to do, and I'm thinking it's just a clay tile. We've scraped the roof, and I'm wondering whether I can get the result just because the biocide's done its job. It's just not cleansed the roof as quickly as I'd hoped. So I'm thinking we go in with some hypo potentially, but I don't know.
Personally, I never use hypo on a roof, and I have that as a rule to myself, just within myself, because the way hypo works and the way DDAC biocide works is very different. Hypo is a bit more sort of blanket attack anything it comes into contact with, whether it's organic or not.
Really?
I
see what you're saying. So if it was like lead flashing or whatever, it could react with the lead flashing, whereas biocide wouldn't.
Yeah. And if you don't wash it off of your tools, metal tools, it will deteriorate your tools. So it's basically attacking any molecules it will come into contact with. In effect, if it's left there long enough, until it sort of burns off and it's done its thing, to use a phrase. Whereas DDAC is I would refer to it as being a little bit more sophisticated, in that a molecule of DAC will react with a molecule of organic growth, and just that. If it's not organic, then it won't react with it. So that's why I love it for roofs, because you're not going to damage the tile, you're not going to damage the felt underneath if it was to leak through, you're not going to damage the lead or the fascias or anything else.
Okay. And are you, as part of the standard service, are you like washing the fascias and soffits after the clean? Because there is obviously a lot of overspray and drip down from the back of the gutters. And are you washing like the windows and stuff afterwards, or is it just like a light wash with the pressure washer?
We'll clear out the gutters and we'll rinse everything down. Rinse the whole building down, rinse all the surrounding areas down, make sure it's all cleared up. And we'll say this to the customer, we aim to leave things neat and tidy as if they were how they were when we arrived at the job. Now, usually they're a bit cleaner than we probably got when we got there to the job. So
I'm always in two minds whether I should be using like pure water on the windows and on the fascias and soffits and stuff because when you're pressure washing, you splash dirt on the windows, you rinse it off nice and quick. There's a chance that if it's dried too quickly, it's going to leave a bit of residue on the windows and stuff. And I'm just thinking to offer the premium ultimate service, really I should be getting out the pure water kit and cleaning that off. But maybe that's an upsell.
I don't usually go quite to that length, to be honest, and I probably should.
I know a lot of people that include it in the standard service, but it's a lot of extra work at the end of the day when you're absolutely knackered.
It's it's the last thing, I suppose, and generally the customer's absolutely over the moon with what I've done, the transformation I've achieved on their roof, and the way I've cleaned everything else down. So there's nothing's normally said about the windows. So I don't normally. I feel like I'm going to get slated for saying.
No, I don't think. I mean, we all do things differently. I don't think you get slated. What's your take on what's your position on roof cleaning? Because this is probably part of the reason why you're here today, is because I think we disagree on quite a bit about roof cleaning. And I've watched a lot of your videos, and you're like dead against using a turbo nozzle on a roof. Is that right?
I wouldn't say dead against, and I think that's a little bit unfair to say that.
Okay.
And I try to be quite careful in my wording, the way I promote my service and what I offer.
Mhm.
And this comes down to really the marketing approach.
Sometimes
So
it's one of the first things you say in the video is you're sort of explaining, I use like a fan jets rather than a pencil jet on a turbo nozzle because this, and this.
Yeah. So I'm not saying I hate anyone that uses a turbo nozzle,
Mhm.
right? I'm not saying no one should ever use a turbo nozzle. It's not what I prefer. And I've explained in a few videos why I prefer one method over another. But so I put out social media the other day and I said, what's the best way to clean a roof? And that's a hook.
Mhm.
That's a hook for that video, because that's a searchable phrase. And that's why I'm using that phrase.
That's a good idea.
Because Instagram, TikTok are now becoming search engines in their own right.
Yeah.
So I've done research to find out what are, so you can go to a website and you can search up a topic and it will give you the most searchable questions for that topic.
Mhm.
So then if you try and make content around those questions, your business or your media that you're putting out is more likely to be found by people searching those questions that are most searched. Makes sense?
Mhm.
So that's one I want to find. That's one I think people are searching for. You know, what's the best way to clean a roof? So I'll say that I'll start a video with that phrase because that will make it more searchable.
Yeah.
What's the best way? And then I'll explain what method I use and why I prefer to use it. Because that's the method
you've had
you want to use.
You've had quite a lot of backlash from this, and it's
and I feel it's misconstrued really for that reason.
I mean,
but
one of the pictures that you put up on your one of the thumbnails that you used, I noticed you changed it after you posted it. I don't know whether that was because of the backlash that you got from other people. But it explicitly said don't use a turbo nozzle to clean a roof, and then it was changed. Like, I don't know whether it was a couple of days later or what. To should you use a turbo nozzle?
Someone screenshot it before I've changed it and splashed it all over the place.
Yeah,
and this is a bit unfair, really. It's a shame. So what happens is I'll be making a video, and a video might have like a working title, right? And so I put that video together, and then I'll put it up on YouTube. And I'm trying to use like various techniques, like I'll try and use the preview and all this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And I'll make a thumbnail and I'll put it up. And there's this thing that happens. I don't know if you get this the same, but when you're making a video, you get in like a zone, I suppose, or a certain mindset, and you're putting a video together, and then you put it out on social media. And for me, that once it goes out on the social media, all of a sudden now you're viewing that video from the audience's perspective of yourself, which is a different perspective when you're creating that video.
It's weird. You've got to sort of zoom out, haven't you, and think, one, what's gonna get people to click? Because I'm so in this video and I'm editing it, and I know what it's all about. And then I think if I name it, knowing what it's all about, it's going to be quite obscure, maybe very specific. I need to zoom out from a viewer's perspective and have like an appropriate thumbnail and title that's going to be it's not necessarily going to sum up the video, but it's going to be like worth clicking for the viewer, and that's a really weird balance.
And you are trying to use kind of clickbait type titles and things like that. You're bearing all that in mind. So with every video, I'm like, sometimes it changes 2 or 3 times by the time I actually put out the video, and that's what happened on that. I'm like, and I started the video by thinking that I want to talk about this issue of turbo nozzles versus flat surface cleaners, and I want to make a video about that. I think it will get attention, but but once I put it out, I thought, oh, that's a bit strong. I did, so I did think that. Oh,
Did you
that's a
think
bit
that?
strong. That's not
Did
quite,
you think that
that's
by
not quite what I
yourself?
want to convey.
Did you think that by yourself, or did you change it because of the backlash that you got from it and all those
Yeah,
comments
no,
on that Facebook page?
no, I thought that by myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's a
because
feature
I
now.
don't,
There's a feature on
I
YouTube
don't
now
even
where
use.
you can put like 3 thumbnails on and see which one does best. Have you seen that?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
It's
Yeah,
like a
I haven't
testing
used that
thing.
before.
You can make
Yeah,
like 3 different thumbnails, and
yeah,
when the video is posted, it'll see which
yeah,
one got the most clicks, and then it'll tell you, and you
yeah,
can change it to that thumbnail, for example.
yeah. And I'm doing so many other things as well. It's
Hmm.
like sometimes it's like you do things without thinking properly. But that one, yeah, that was a bit strong when I first put that title and that thumbnail together, and I thought, no, that's not quite the message I wanted to convey.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so that was
Because
that
you had used
particular one.
turbo nozzles yourself in the past, and you said you've like I remember
Yeah,
in one of your other videos you said I've scraped roofs, I've used loads of different techniques. Have you used steam before?
yeah,
You have used steam.
yeah,
What made you stop
yeah.
using steam?
Well, so I started cleaning roofs in 2013.
Hmm.
By that time, in fact, my first ever YouTube video has before and after of roof cleans in it. So, at least 12 years I've been cleaning roofs. And the first roof I ever cleaned was, I think I've been doing pressure washing paving patios and driveways for about 4 or 5 years at this point. And a customer that I just cleaned his driveway, he literally said to me, oh, that's amazing. Can you do, I've got this problem with my roof as well. Such a lot of moss in my roof. Can you do something similar for the roof? So I'm like, sure, why not?
It's so hard to say
I'll have a
no.
go.
Yeah, it's
You know?
when you're
Yeah,
just starting as well. It's like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I'll clean your garden.
yeah.
I'll
And
take all
this
that
is it.
rubbish away.
You just have a go, and yeah, my business is growing, and I'm trying to grow this pressure washing thing, and someone asks you to do something, and you're just like, yeah, I'll have a go at that. And at the time, like 12 years ago, there's not the support out there on social media. There's not the communities like we have now.
Hmm.
So I literally was out there, trial and error, trying to grow a business, build a business. I have no clue what I'm doing, if I'm totally honest. And it's bizarre, isn't it? How all of us are self-employed and you just have no real training of how to do it.
Yeah,
Everyone just has a go at it,
yeah.
which is amazing when you think about it. So this is what happened. This guy says, can you, and I was just using the same equipment that I had for doing paving. And I would not recommend this, but there is some videos on my channel still now of me. I'd get a roof ladder. I'd put the roof ladder up on the roof and I'd go up on the roof with just a standard gun
Hmm.
and clean the roof down with a pressure washer like that.
There's still a lot of
And
people that are doing that, and
yeah,
I don't think there's any specific regulations when it comes to walking on a roof. There's definitely insurance implications, but whether there's like,
yeah.
uh, are there any health and safety standards where someone will say you are doing that wrong and you're unsafe? Maybe for your employees, but for the actual business owner, do you know what I mean?
So that's amazing, isn't it? About our industry in general, there's very few regulations
Hmm.
really. And I think this is part of the problem. Maybe we can come back to this, but this is part of the problem, maybe, where you've got anyone can buy the equipment
Hmm.
and have a go at it. And
Very
so
low
you've got
barrier to
people
entry.
who are buying the equipment and just having a go at it and not necessarily having an understanding of what they're actually doing.
And a lot of the time,
I mean, and that was me. That was me, to be honest.
yeah, and unless you
Yeah,
know which training you need, you don't know what to look for, because if you've seen
yeah,
someone else do it this way, you just assume, okay, that's the way we do it. Like,
yeah,
like to be honest, for me, pressure washing from a tower, just doesn't seem. It doesn't seem like the optimal way of doing things. I don't actually like towers. I think some of them are quite unsafe, and I think it just adds that other element. And also, like using a massive extendable pole, like 40 foot out, just does not seem like the optimum way to do something. And
so
I'm wondering if there
yeah,
is a safe way where someone can walk on a roof and they know what they're doing. They're not going to crack the tiles. They're harnessed in. They're attached to something, And it wouldn't be that situation where someone's taking a picture of them from halfway down the street and posting it all over Facebook and saying, God, look at this idiot. You know what I mean?
I think if you're going to walk on the roof, there's always going to be a danger that you will break a tile, or risk or risk your own health. So, I mean, cherry pickers are often an easier way to get up there rather than a scaffold tower. But then there's the added cost implications. But obviously, that's not a compromise for safety, is it? Sometimes, but then most of the time, I think if you can understand your equipment and be able to control that piece of equipment, vast majority of work we do or I do is off the tower.
So you're doing everything now with a flat surface cleaner with a little turbo devil thing?
Not a turbo devil, no.
What's the Mossmatic?
And I think people struggle with a flat surface cleaner sometimes, and it's because it's the wrong flat surface cleaner, and it's very specific. My setup that I'm using is actually very specific. So just to go back a couple of steps. So from when I'm
trying to get my hours worth out of you, so I'm trying to like get through everything. You know what I mean?
So I'm hoping that if I could tell you this story, and hopefully explain things a little bit more. I've worked with pressure washers for 4 or 5 years. I've got that understanding of what I can achieve on the ground, and then I'm starting to do roof cleaning with a gun. I did a few jobs this way, and then I started to realize, it did hit me eventually that this is not the safest way. This is probably not the best approach. I started doing a bit more research. The only thing I could really find, actually, there was a big flat surface cleaner. Not sure if it was Mossmatic, it might be, but it looks like a big flat surface cleaner. It's just got wheels on it, all 4 corners,
on a rope,
and someone on a rope, would like lower it down. So that was one thing I found. But just at this time, scrapers were becoming a thing. So they were just coming to the market, and so I started scraping basically, and I did that for probably a few years.
So no pressure washing roofs, just scraping them at that point.
Yeah, I started to think there must be a safer way. These scrapers are becoming a thing. Maybe that's a better way to do it. It's a bit more gentle on the roof tiles, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I did a lot of scrapers, and I did some work with one of the main. I don't want to name any companies, but one of the scraper manufacturers. I used to make some scrapers for him and test them out on my channel and that kind of thing. Then another company approached me, and they knew that I was doing roof cleaning, and they had someone who'd come to them with a piece of equipment, and they wanted me to test it out. So I signed non-disclosure agreements, all this kind of thing. So I'm not allowed to talk about it. But I tested out this piece of equipment. It was a pressure washing type piece of equipment. And so I was using that for a bit. And I came to about a year. So they'd provide me the equipment. I would use it on jobs. I was getting the jobs anyway. So that's what I was doing. I came to the conclusion that I'm not comfortable using this piece of equipment. It wasn't quite right, in my opinion.
In terms of safety, or in terms of damage to the roof, or just the method?
Yeah, I didn't like the type of jets it was using. I didn't like the format, let's say, of how it would work. Yeah.
You're being very vague, and I want to know who it is and what it was.
Because I signed non-disclosure agreements, and they're selling it now. And if they know I'm talking about it, they'll take me down to Chinatown. Man.
I think I know who it is. I think I know what it is, but I'm not going to say.
So anyway, draw your own conclusion. Yeah. But anyway, that got me back into the idea of pressure washing it, and I didn't like the jets it was using. I didn't like the way it worked. So I started experimenting with the setup I had, because I was using like a power pole setup, and at the time I was testing a lot of different window cleaning poles. So I had like a lot of spare poles knocking about. I had this really rigid Unger pole. It was like the most rigid pole I've ever used. So I converted that into a pressure washing.
Was it rigid and light, or rigid and heavy?
Rigid, light, not so worried about, but just rigid.
Okay.
So so that got me into. Now, at the similar sort of time, I'd gone from using a standard flat surface cleaner on paving, upgraded to a Mossmatic, like a 21-inch Mossmatic for the ground. Now, even that in itself was a bit of an eye opener for me. Now, most flat surface cleaners will come with 25-degree jets, which is considered a standard general purpose jet. Mossmatic sell all of their flat surface cleaners with 15-degree jets, which is quite clever when you think about it. Because when I first got this flat surface cleaner and I first used it, pull the trigger and boom, straight away it feels more powerful. That was a great decision, wasn't it? I
That
bought
is
a
clever,
Mossmatic
actually.
flat surface cleaner. So the jets are just a little bit more focused, a little bit more concentrated on the surface. It's if you think you've got a tool now with 2 jets rather than 1. So the power from your pressure washer, whatever you're using, is split across 2 jets. So 2 25-degree jets in effect is like 50 degrees.
Yeah,
That's
we're
got
talking
this
on
thing.
block paving specifically, like the power to actually remove weeds and stuff, which I'm still not convinced that.
Well, so 15-degree, it will feel more powerful when you use the flat surface cleaner, but you're still not going to remove every weed. But even on block paving, I will try and minimize the amount that I actually use a turbo nozzle. I don't never use a turbo nozzle, but I'd rather go over it with the flat surface cleaner first. And then if there are any stubborn weeds or staining or whatever it is, I'll come back to those specific areas and use the turbo nozzle afterwards.
So you must think that's faster then, because I'm in this thing where if I use the flat surface cleaner first, and I've used loads of different types of nozzles and stuff, and loads of different setups, loads of different size surface cleaners, and I still can't get a satisfactory result with the flat surface cleaner on block paving. And I think once I've cleaned the surface with the surface cleaner, everything looks clean, but I still need to go over it with the turbo nozzle. So I might miss bits. I might miss little chunks of weeds that are coming out. I've got more of a chance of missing them because everything looks clean. And surely if I'm going back over the whole surface again pretty much, I might as well just start with the turbo nozzle and finish with the turbo nozzle. You know what I mean?
Well, the flat surface cleaner is specifically designed to remove 10 millimeters of sand from between the blocks.
Ooh, at what PSI? If you've got like a 15-degree nozzle and it's like jetted to your machine, is this like 200 bar?
It's to do with the angle of the jets. So what I love about a flat surface cleaner is it's a very methodical and very uniform way of cleaning the surface. So the jets underneath are angled ever so slightly.
So
that's what gives it
so that it spins.
Spin. But they're never pointing exactly down into the gap between the block, always slightly across. So that'll only remove 10 mil to 15 mil, I believe. Obviously, assuming that the blocks are nice and tight and close together. If they've started to move apart, then it might be slightly more.
So you're probably using less sand when you're resanding that surface afterwards than you would do if you're using a turbo nozzle.
That's right, exactly. So you'll save yourself on sand when you come back to resand. Yeah. So I'll only come back and use the turbo nozzle for specific, if there's a specific stubborn area of weeds, I might just come back and use it for that little area.
Yeah, I've still not found an effective setup really. What size surface cleaner are you using with them 15-degree jets?
So the size won't matter. It'll be 15, it'll be a 21 inch that I normally use.
On a 21 litre per minute machine, 200 bar?
Yeah.
Really? So just the 15-degree jets that make the difference?
So the slower you go, the more times those jets will pass over the surface. And then what I'll quite often do is be quite generous in the way I overlap the flat surface cleaner. So as I go up and down the surface. So I'll just walk nice and slowly, nice and consistent speed, come back the other way. Then what I'll do is I'll rinse everything down, get rid of the majority of that muck that you've left on the surface, treat it with my chemical, so my hypo. Then I might, if it needs be, go over with the flat surface cleaner again to remove all that algae that you've now killed off with the chemical. It doesn't always need that, but if it does need that. And then as I rinse, like rinsing is a great way to sort of check over your work.
Are you rinsing with the turbo or are you rinsing with like a fan jet?
So I'll rinse with a twin lance.
The one where you can twist it so it changes.
The handle on the side, and it's got two jets there. It'll have one standard jet and one jet with like a larger orifice.
Mhm.
And the handle switches between the two progressively. And I love that. It's great for like rinsing down like a front door or a garage door really gently.
Nice and low
And then you
pressure.
can-
And then you switch
Yeah.
that to the higher pressure.
and then you ramp up the handle and to hit the paving, rinse the
interesting.
paving down.
That's a good idea.
So you don't see them very often.
No.
But it's one of my favourite things.
I like the idea of one of those vario adjusters that you can have on the trigger. And you can do that for like roof cleaning as well, I suppose. But I just don't know what that's doing to the machine. When you're running the machine at full pelt, when you turn your needle valve or your unloader valve right up and using full pressure, full revs, using that vario adjuster and turning it down, what's that doing to the machine? I don't really know, but
It can put more strain on the machine.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Back to roofs. I think we should go back to roof cleaning. So, would you say
I
that?
love the way,
Go on.
even for a roof clean, then I'm taking this principle of the way a flat surface cleaner really covers the area nice and methodically, nice and evenly. It's not too intense on the surface because you're using a fan jet rather than a pencil jet.
Mm-hmm.
Your power from your machine is split across 2 jets as well, rather than just one. But I'm also using reduced. I turn the machine down on the unloader valve.
Do you know roughly what sort of pressure you're using with those 25-degree jets?
So cleaning power from your pressure washer is not just pressure.
Mhm.
It's pressure combined with liters per minute.
Yep.
So that's important to recognize, because you can have 3000 psi at 6 liters per minute, and that pressure washer is only really any good for washing your car. You can have 3000 psi at 30 liters per minute, and there's going to be a massive difference. So I think there's a massive lack of understanding about pressure washing, generally speaking. For example, my insurance covers me for pressure washing machines up to 3000 psi.
What's that in bar?
And I think that's
You know what that is in bar?
it's about 250 bar, I think, isn't it? 21 liters per minute is 250 bar. I think so. Which is ridiculous, because
200 bar, 206 bar.
206. There you go. So yeah, your liters per minute has a massive difference, but that's not recognized by my insurance.
That's very specific from your insurance. Do you have a pressure gauge on your machine? Do you know what pressure you're running at?
Yeah, so it'll be about 2500 psi, I think.
Right.
Yeah. But for roof cleaning, and this is where steam comes into it as well. So you've got your PSI, you've got your liters per minute.
So that's quite high, 170 bar. That's higher than I expected for roof cleaning. But
So
it's
you've
spread
got your
across 2
PSI.
fan jets.
Yeah. And your liters per minute.
Mhm.
And then you add steam to the mix. Now, what happens when you add steam? You're heating your water. Some of that water volume in liters per minute is now turning into water vapor.
Mhm.
In steam, actually starting to affect your liter per minute value by heating the water and creating steam.
Yeah, okay, I see that.
Okay, now, for example, I tried that V-Tough machine, steam cleaning machine.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that one. It's got an electric pressure washer on the front, which I believe is 12 liters per minute.
Is it like a DOF?
Similar, but it's all one. It's in one unit. It's a silver kind of wedge shape.
Yeah, it looks like a Robot Wars thing.
Yeah. And it's got the diesel. It's a diesel. A diesel boiler basically on the back, and an electric pressure washer, and it runs at 12 liters per minute. So at first, when I first started trying steam, I was using an 8-inch flat surface cleaner because it was lighter, like you said just now. Having a lighter pole set up, and I was using the steam, heating the water, but I only started with 12 liters per minute.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what they say is that you need around 11 liters per minute to run a flat surface cleaner.
Okay.
Efficient. Now, I was heating the water to around 100 to 150 degrees, And so what was happening was my flat surface cleaner stopped turning
Yeah.
because the water was too hot, and I was reducing the liters per minute because I was heating the water to steam, and now my flat surface cleaner wasn't going round. And I think this is what happens with some guys that say you should use steam, is because they're heating the water so much, maybe it's not running the flat surface cleaner, and so they're resorting to a turbo nozzle and using that instead.
Yeah, and I suppose to prevent that, you need to turn your temperature down a little bit. And at that point,
Yeah.
it might look like you're using steam, but it's not effective cleaning steam.
So so it might just be hot water.
Yeah.
So that's what I ended up doing, is I'm turning the heat down and down and down to get my liters per minute back, because it's my liters per minute which is really being effective with the cleaning in this particular instance. And so then I went over to a different steam system. So I used my 21 liters per minute pressure washer. So I've got my liters per minute back. And then I was using the separate Mazzoni boiler.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys might have them like van mounted. I had one, Rutland Pumps was doing one separate.
Someone asked in the chat earlier, just a very quick side note, why don't you have a van mounted system for your pressure washer? Do you have to take it in and out of the van every time?
Don't have to. No, sometimes I work with it in the van actually, but it's just personal preference thing. So I prefer that because I can squeeze more in the van. Really,
Right. Okay.
Where I shuffle things around. Yeah, so that's just my personal preference, really. I don't have an either one's better than the other.
Right. And so you didn't get on with steam.
So yeah, even with the bigger machine and the bigger setup, I ended up just turning it down and down and down. Now a DOF system is often approved specifically. There's I can't remember off the top of my head what the
it's for like heritage cleaning, isn't it?
Yeah. Now that uses low liters per minute. Like I think it's only 5 liters per minute or 6 maybe, something like that. And then it heats it to like 150 degrees. And then they often recommend using a wide jet as well. So that you really are just relying on the steam, and it's often used with exterior buildings that have a lot of stonework, a lot of delicate stonework, and so really super gentle. Just steam is getting that stonework clean. So that's low. I don't know what you say, but for roof cleaning where you've got big clumps of moss,
you need a bit of pressure behind it to like move it.
Not pressure. You need water volume.
Flow.
Yeah.
So I noticed in your latest video that you posted, I've been trying to get it up in the background, but I keep getting played at adverts, and it's very annoying because I haven't got YouTube Premium. But in the beginning of the video, you're shifting so much moss, and I wouldn't have thought that would really be viable with a flat surface cleaner. I'm just going to get through these adverts just to play it for the viewers.
So usually my technique will be to go from side to side across the roof, gradually reduce the length of the pole as I work my way down, and just bring all the moss down like that. Now, if there's a great deal of moss, like a high volume of moss, and I'm sure you've had this, as you start to come down the roof, it really starts to pile up.
Yeah. And you risk sort of flooding those valleys and stuff, and you don't want that water getting back up into the valleys.
Yeah, so my technique will change from going across like this to actually going up and down, as if I'm almost pulling that moss down.
Yeah.
But I'm not pulling it down. It's the weight of the water behind it, which will so you just gradually tease it down.
Yeah.
So instead of working from side to side, you start working in columns up and down like this, pulling it down, and you're just working with the weight of the water. Because I know this is the thing some people say, isn't it, that should you scrape it off first?
Oh, you would not catch me scraping a roof and then pressure washing it. It's just
well, me neither. So I just want to do it in one go.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's all these factors, which for me, the other thing I find about a turbo nozzle is it seems like, because a roof is normally a big area, it just seems like quite a tedious way to clean a large area with this tiny little sort of circle turbo nozzle that goes around. But
I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying.
It's just me, really. So in the end, what it comes down to is it's a combination of the way I want to clean it the way I'm marketing it and the time factor involved in actually getting the job done.
Okay.
So I know if I do a job in this method, I can look at a job and I know how long it's going to take me. And whatever the job is like, that time factor is not going to be affected too much because of this method that I'm using, that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
And so when I come to do the quote, I know how much I want to quote for that job based on these factors.
So would you say that these videos are targeted to your customers and you're trying to generate leads, or would you say they're more targeted to other people in the industry? Because you have been quite outspoken about methods, and I'm wondering, my theory was early on that you mention about the turbo nozzles causing damage to the roof and all this sort of stuff because you're sort of reassuring your potential customers that you're doing it in the safest way possible, which I understand it from that perspective. I can sort of get on board with that. However, you're also then sort of alienating a lot of other people in the industry that just do it a different way, and it's just as effective, but according to you, it's damaging the roof. Have you got like any solid proof that a turbo nozzle like damages a roof compared to your flat surface cleaner?
So I think that there is a higher potential to damage the roof, and it would be similar if some people say that they can clean roofs from the safety of the ground. Now, if you're cleaning an upstairs roof from the ground, that to me is ridiculous because you can't see what you're doing, and some roofs are quite old and delicate, and the tiles are quite old and delicate. So the fact that you're on a tower and you're sort of at gutter level and you can see the surface you're working on is really important, because there can be damaged tiles underneath that moss. And I quite often will say this to a customer that, if there's a carpet of moss, the chances are there's going to be some damaged tiles under there when we remove that.
Yeah. So my question was that how can you tell? I don't know if it's you that said this or someone else, I can't really remember, but that the turbo nozzle is stripping a layer off of the face of the tile compared to the surface cleaner, which doesn't do that because it's less intensive. And there's already algae on the surface of the roof or moss. How are you proving that it's stripping a layer from the surface of the tile? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think you can prove it. But my concern is with a turbo nozzle, if you've got all the power coming from your pressure washer, however it's set up, is now pinpointed through one pencil jet that's now spinning. And that pencil jet, what you're doing if you're cleaning a roof is you're passing up that pencil jet over the entire surface of the roof. Now, if you've got a tile that's slightly damaged or cracked in some way, that pencil jet is now going to pass over that piece of that crack or that damage. And go wherever it's going to go, underneath to the felt, maybe damage the felt or cause a crack to then open up, whatever it potentially could be.
Yeah.
Take that and now do that similar thing with a flat surface cleaner. You've got two fan jets. The power is now spread across those two jets. So as those two jets pass over the surface, the theory perhaps is, if you agree with this or not, only one jet at a time will perhaps pass over that damaged area. If it does pass over that damaged area, the pressure is now spread out across a wider part of the surface. And so you're able just to be that little bit more careful and gentle.
So would you say that would you say that you're basing this on speculation rather than facts? Would that be fair? It's something that you think might happen rather than something that you've seen happen for yourself.
Well, it's that principle that we spoke about being, 25-degree jets are spreading the.
I understand the principle on paper.
Degree jet and the pencil jets.
I understand the principle, but also your turbo nozzle. Also, your turbo nozzle is maybe like 3 or 4 inches, maybe more, from the surface of the roof, whereas the fan jet is a lot closer. And if you're saying you're using 170 odd bar. I would suggest that is similarly as intensive personally, because that seems quite high. I'm only using probably between 130 and 150 bar with the turbo nozzle.
But cleaning power is not just pressure; it's pressure and liters per minute.
I
And it's the
understand.
jet you're using. So
I
it's those things
understand.
in combination. So the way I set up my machine is I've got my liters per minute, and I'll adjust the unloader valve down,
Mhm.
so the cleaning power output is reduced, and then I'll have a very flow control valve on my trigger, just to tweak that pressure
Mhm.
or that cleaning power. It's not just pressure; it's the cleaning power. And so I can reduce that to virtually nothing. So it's just coming out so
Yeah.
softly and barely turning around. And as I adjust that valve, you can then so every single job is different.
Yeah, I
And
mean, you can
so
also do that
adjust
with the turbo
depending
nozzle.
on what you're doing.
The flow is determined by the orifice of the nozzle on the
Yeah.
turbo or on the flat surface cleaner. So you
Yeah.
can still do that. You can still turn the pressure down when you're using the
Yeah.
turbo nozzle and turn the flow down at the same time. And so
Yeah, but the other thing is it's very difficult to keep that turbo nozzle at a constant distance
yeah,
from
true,
the surface as
very
you
true.
work with it. And there's also a high danger of letting go of the trigger unexpectedly at the wrong time, and for that turbo nozzle to hit the deck or the tile. And if that does happen, that's almost definitely a broken tile as well.
Yeah, so a big thing with roof cleaning when people are doing it for the first time with the turbo nozzle, they have that unexpected kick of power where they're potentially resting the nozzle on the roof. They pull the trigger and then suddenly it's like up in the air like this, or they're coming off the trigger and they forget how heavy the pole is without that pressure, and it just drops and bashes on the tiles and it causes the tiles to crack.
So I've got several motivations here. I never get a call from any customer saying, "Oh, I've got a roof that I want cleaned, but I'm not sure how I should clean it. Can you give me advice?" I never get that call
Okay,
because of my marketing.
right.
So every piece of marketing I'm putting out is the flat surface cleaner.
Yeah,
So every call I get, more or less, is someone, "Oh, I've seen your video, looks brilliant. How much is it? Can you give me a quote?"
yeah. Do you understand
That
what I'm
is it.
saying about how it's portraying other people in the industry though? When you say, everyone seems like an expert these days, and people are walking on roofs and they're using the wrong nozzles and all this sort of stuff. Actually,
Yeah.
I would say that other people are just they've found a different technique that works for them. And if they're not getting calls from customers saying you're causing leaks in my roof, every other customer, you're causing leaks and damage, then surely the way that they're doing it has some merit and it's just different to your approach. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But the concern is then I'm training other people, and I don't want to be training people who are then going to potentially cause damage if there's a risk to it. Because imagine from my point of view, if someone goes along to a roof, they're roof cleaning for the first time, and I'm not there with them on the job. I'm not giving them that on the job training. I'm in a controlled situation giving them training on a training roof. So it's not a real roof, so there's no danger within the training scenario. If they cause damage to it, it's not an issue. If they were then to go away and they've done something that I haven't shown them and caused damage, I'm less liable.
Yeah.
Because I haven't told them to do it. So these are the different factors that I'm sort of weighing up.
Are there any roofs that you don't pressure wash? Is there a job that you would say, no, I'm not going to pressure wash that? I'm going to use a different technique, or I'm just not going to do that job?
There might be. Yeah, there are some really old cottages with really old kind of peg tiles that are all a bit higgledy-piggledy.
Mm-hmm.
They might be a bit more delicate. There would be some scenarios where.
Would you scrape
But I
that?
never get that. I would, yeah, but I never get that call. You see, from those type of customers, because all my marketing is based around this method.
Right, I understand.
And so people see that, and then they give me a call for that thing. But I even my concern is even on block paved patios,
Mm-hmm.
I worry about. I think this is what happens where you see the social media and someone spent all day with a turbo nozzle on a block paved patio. If you were to do that kind of service every single year, or maybe every couple of years, in kind of 6 to 8 years' time, doing that every time, you're going to erode the surface of that block paving as well. I've seen.
Would you not do that with a flat surface cleaner? Are you saying if you were to do that with a surface cleaner, that same erosion wouldn't happen?
Not to the same degree, I don't think so. No, but you would be more. You could more easily control it in that scenario. Yeah.
But again, you're saying it's speculation. You're saying I don't think so, rather than I've got proof that you know what I mean. And then in your video, when you say it, you're saying it as if this is the wrong way to do it, and I'm doing it the right way. Only my way works because I'm not damaging the surface.
No, so I'll highlight the value of my service and say that I'm aiming to take the best care of the surface that I'm cleaning. And I'll be doing that with the combination of the pressure washing method that I'm using and the chemical treatment that goes along with that as well. So usually what I would say to any customer, whether it's a roof clean or paving, is that it's a combination of the pressure cleaning and the chemical treatment which achieves the best result that will be longest lasting as well. Now, I would usually recommend to a customer for roofs or for paving of any kind is you could have a chemical treatment refresher service, which would just
like a biocide top up or something.
Yeah, that would just freshen up that surface, remove that algae that will have developed over the winter, and that will help you maintain it in the best condition without necessarily the need for heavy duty pressure washing again on that surface.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be my premium type approach to help the customer. So I love to try and look after a customer in the best way possible, but also help the customer to maintain their property in the long term with the best method of doing that, help them to look after it in the best condition. Which is great for my business as well, to try and keep that customer as a regular customer.
Yeah. How long have you got? Because I am absolutely desperate for a wee, and I'm wondering whether we take a break, like a 30-second break, or whether you want to come back and do something.
I'd be keen to finish if possible.
Yeah, of course, no worries. Thank you for joining me. I have got lots of other questions, but maybe we do it another time if you're interested, because there's lots of
maybe we can come back.
I like digging deep into subjects like this and also things I haven't thought about. You've mentioned a lot of things tonight that have made me sort of reflect. And I really want to get this flat surface cleaner on block paving to like work for me. And maybe I'm going to think about that some more anyway. But
the aim of the training is, I feel that there are brands in the industry also doing training. And I think it's always loaded, isn't it? Because they want to basically get you as a customer to sell you equipment.
There's a conflict of interest, definitely.
Whereas what I'm trying to do is be a voice, an independent voice. And I've cut all ties with brands that I've worked with in the past to try and offer this independent advice. So I can help people kind of get to grips with these different concepts of understanding the pressure washing power, different cleaning techniques, different chemical applications. Because like we've said, there's very few kind of regulations or guidance out there. And that's always the concern, isn't it, with some of the social media and things like that. How do you know getting kind of the best advice, really?
Yeah.
So to be able to share my sort of years of experience on the tools and running my own business is getting that combination of things to try and help people out. So I'm quite passionate about, obviously it's costs something, but then the value of what I'm trying to offer is I've got some discounts with suppliers to help with equipment. I help support people afterwards as well, and help them to maybe even get work, and help them with business community, which we set up as well. So
okay. Well, I've got more questions, so maybe if you're up for it, we'll do it another time. But is there anything you wanted to let people know about that you're working on? I know you've got your training course. Where can people find that?
Yeah, so you can go to A.E.Mackingtosh.com is my website with more information. We now have well over 100 5-star reviews on my Google business page for the training as well. So don't just take my word for it, but there's over 100 people that have given some really good reviews. So yeah, you want
Awesome.
to check it out.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm going to let you go because I am desperate for the toilet. I'm going to let you go. All right. Thank you so much for joining me.
And I've enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
See you in a bit.
Take.
Sorry, guys. I'll be back in a second. Oh, Jesus. Almost didn't make that then. I almost didn't make it. Jesus. That was fun. Sorry I cut that short at the end there. Bloody hell. That's how we get on jobs, that is. That's why we introduced the piss bucket. That was fun, wasn't it? What did everyone think of that? I'd love to have had him for a little bit longer so that we could... I had loads more questions, but it's like... Again, I appreciate it's 9 o'clock on a Monday night, and it's like... Oh, you had 15 really good questions as well. Oh, man. What were some of these questions? DDAC over back 50. Furthest you've ever travelled for a job. Why don't you have a van mounted system? Flat surface cleaner on blocks. Smelt says it can't be done. Yeah. Sorry, I almost exploded at the end there. There was some other stuff I really wanted to get into. I had some really good questions, but again, I respect the man's time. I was waiting for Jake's face to show the pure release of... As long as you didn't catch your old boy in your zip. I've got shorts on, so it's fine. Imagine being desperate for a wee, then accidentally plugging a website with water jets on the go. With water jets on the go? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean. Defo not washed his hands. I almost broke my lamp. I'm glad I didn't break that. That would have been catastrophic. Right, guys. I'm on water tablets. They make me like 5-year-old when I'm cleaning windows. We're drinking like 3 or 4 litres of water a day, and it's just going straight through us at the minute. I've yet to successfully use a flat surface cleaner on blocks to get the same results as a turbo. Turbo is the only option for me. I think it's a waste of time. Why use a tool that's doing half a job to... If it's not getting the weeds out, then what's the point in using it? You know what I mean? I understand the logic of... Now that he's mentioned that the flat surface cleaner is only designed to take out like 10 to 15 mil, I understand the logic of that. And I sort of knew that, but I'd never heard it framed like that. But if I'm going back over it with the turbo nozzle anyway to get rid of them last few weeds, and I can't see where I've been because everything looks clean, it just seems counterintuitive to me. The views this is going to get once the word gets round. Can I stop being good in chat now? Hopefully everyone was respectful. Yeah, it's 170 bar seems like a lot. Need to put a pee bucket under the desk. Yeah, true. Jake's back teeth are floating. What does that mean? I'm now confused after the Facebook story the other day. Well, so I said on my Facebook story that I disagree with a lot of what he was pushing, and I still disagree with him on a lot of things. It doesn't mean we can't have like a civilized conversation about it. He said like, I'd love to talk to you about it sometime. And I said, well, look, I've invited you on the podcast, and you said you couldn't make it ever. So like, let's do it again. Let's try it again. I'll invite him again and see if he wants to join me, and we can have a chat about it. But I wasn't totally convinced by a lot of the answers I got. I thought there was a lot of dodging around the question and stuff, but I don't know. If we'd have had more notice, I asked him on Friday whether he could join me, and he didn't let me know until this morning. And so if I'd have had more notice, I could have sent him the questions over, and he could have prepared some answers, and so he might have maybe articulated some stuff a little bit better instead of sort of dancing around some of the subjects a little bit, because it's difficult when I've had time to prepare questions and I sort of know what I want to say, and then he's hearing them firsthand. He's hearing them for the first time, and it might take him off guard a little bit, because there was loads more that I had, but I didn't really think it was fair maybe to, I don't know. It's a weird one. I'd love to have got onto some of the stuff that we disagree on more, because that's where I think there's value. I learned a lot from him tonight, and I think there's a lot of value there to be had from seeing different perspectives. It's a shame we only had like an hour and half. Well, I mean, it's 9:30 now. We started at like 7:45, but half an hour of that was him trying to set up the camera and the audio, so we lost a lot of time at the beginning. What is the correct height the jet should be from the ground? Are we talking about flat surface cleaner? That's a very good question. We was all respectful, Jack. Fair play for him coming on though. Yeah, he did say like, I don't want it to be like, it sounds like an ambush. And I was like, no, it's not an ambush. I've got some questions because I disagree with you. But the plan isn't to try and catch him out on anything. I just want to understand his perspective and why he says some of the stuff that he says, because he's quite outspoken. Nick from Prestige Exterior replied to my comment in his video explaining the setup for the flat surface cleaner, arm, height, jets, etc. and it works. Okay. Do you want to expand on that? Do you know, can you help us? Hi Angus, welcome. Hi Jake, saw you using the X-Jet at a low flow and seemed really controlled. How do you know what litres per minute you're using if you turn a 21 litre per minute machine? And what proportion do you use? It's a very good question. It's a question that I still, it's impossible to answer. You can't know the output of your machine. Particularly with an X-Jet. If you're turning it all on full whack, so full revs, highest pressure possible, you could probably safely say that you're using 21 litres per minute with an open nozzle. But then when you put any sort of nozzle on it that's restricting the flow, the pressure goes up and the flow could potentially go down. And then when you adjust the revs down, which is what you would do if you're using an X-Jet to apply hypo, because you don't want to be blasting it everywhere, you want to turn it down so it's nice and controlled. You might know the pressure you're running at, but it's pointless to know that when you're using an X-Jet. It's more about feel, because it's such a wide open nozzle. You're pushing so much water through it that it's useless knowing how many psi or bar that you're running. It's more about how it feels. But at that point, you don't know how much flow your machine's putting out. And so those proportioner charts where it says 15 litres per minute, use the grey proportioner and you'll end up with 1:6. It's sort of bollocks, because you don't know that you're running at 15 litres per minute. You're probably not, and there's no way of knowing that. So I just turn it down, get a feel for it, and honestly I just guess, does this feel like around about 15 litres per minute? And I'm thinking less about the ratios and more about the proportioners that I've used in the past that have got me the result. So now that we're using the switch tip from Rutland Pumps, which removes the need for those proportioners because it's got built-in proportioners that you can just swivel like a gun. Now that we're using that, I generally use either the setting number 3 if it's pretty bad, or I'm using setting number 2 if I just want to sort of sanitize the surface, and that tends to give me the result that I'm looking for. It was constructive. Things like this are needed for the industry to move forward. I agree. There's lots of online trolling and calling each other out and slating people, and it gets us nowhere. You know what I mean? It's not constructive. It's just egos. It's just male egos. Just people thinking they're better than each other. And I would rather just have a conversation with someone if I think a conversation is worth having, and talk about it on a long form thing like this. Sorry, I only jumped in the live at the very end of him being on, and I was like, what's going on here? After what I'd seen the other day. Fair play for him for coming on. True, very true. Expect an invoice from him. Like, I wanted to ask about the expo, why he wasn't at the expo, and what happened a couple of years ago. I wanted to ask about the Sid video that he took down. I wanted to ask about, Liam's video that he commented on. Do you replace tiles? If so, how? What do you do with the biocide runoff? I had a lot of things to ask, but unfortunately we only had an hour. Need to watch from the start. Someone said something about hypo. I can't see what they said. Ashley's perspective on the hypo on roofs I fully get. Makes perfect sense, but I did find a lot of his answers to questions seem to go off topic. I found that too. Yeah, you sort of ask a direct question and you start talking about steam cleaning. It's like, oh, hang on. Let's go back to the question. Switch tips are finally back in stock. Mine's coming tomorrow. Running a 21 litre per minute 200 bar, I have an 18-inch flat surface cleaners. Nozzles are half an inch from the ground. Using 40 03s. Or I've used 25 035s, but nozzles are around an inch from the tiles. Are we talking about block paving? The issue isn't patios. You wouldn't be using 40s on block paving to get rid of like weeds and stuff. I thought about putting a water flow tester on the inlet to let the water flow. Your machine is pulling. Not necessarily, Aaron. That's good logic, but if you've got one of the bigger machines where you've got a return to tank bypass, you may find that depending on where you've got your trigger, depending on where you've got your unloader valve or your needle valve, you could be pulling the trigger and most of the water's coming out of your lance, but you'll see in that return to tank bypass that a lot of the water is still going back into the tank because it's not using full pressure, so it's bypassing it this way. And so whatever's coming in to the pump is being split in two directions, so it's not a true reading of what, you know what I mean? It's good logic though. 170 bar isn't a lot, as it's on 86 bar since it's halved. Yeah, that's true. If I'm using 100 and, let's say worst case scenario, 150 bar on a turbo nozzle on a roof, and it's maybe 4 inches from the surface, maybe 5 at a guess, is that worse than 86 bar, an inch from the surface through a fan jet? Yeah, you could be right there. When there's tiffs like that, it looks terrible, to be honest. Respect to you both for chatting on everything. We're all human. We have our ways. We agree, disagree, but it's respecting each other. Yeah, and that's the point. Is I wanted to sort of hammer home that we all do things different ways, and I don't think it's fair that with such a big audience you can say this is wrong based on speculation, based on just a feeling that I've got. You know what I mean? Doesn't seem right. It's sort of confirmed what I thought as well, which, whatever. At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way to clean something, as there is no one who knows. It was constructive in my opinion. Nothing wrong with being cautious when doing any work on a customer's property. True. Would you hypo a tarmac drive? No. Oh, are you talking about right or wrong way of cleaning things? Yeah, there are certainly some wrong ways of cleaning things, but posted a couple of pictures on the Identify Discord. Okay, let's have a look. Identify this, will you? Would you hypo these? Yes. That is just concrete, mate. Yeah. Yeah, very old, very weathered concrete. So these are like a riven effect, so they're designed to look like sandstone, I suppose. But you can tell with these because you've got repeating patterns. So this slab here is the same as this slab here. It's just flipped. So you can see with that like curve that starts in the bottom corner and ends halfway up here, you've got that curve that ends halfway up here. That's the easiest way to tell concrete slabs, is that they're all sort of stamped from a mold. That is going to be a tough one, to be honest. They look lots of black spots. And then this one is a different type of concrete slab. Seems to have lost its coating. This, I mean, there under where the furniture's been, it actually looks okay. But sometimes you get these that have like lost their coating. Some of them have like a dipped, like a yellow or a grey coating on them, and they're so old and weathered that you can start to see all the aggregate coming through. And at that point, the litching and the black spots have been allowed to sort of absorb so deeply into the concrete that it becomes a right pain to clean. And you can use as much hypo as you can get your hands on, and it still won't clean it. So you've got to be quite cautious with some concrete slabs. So do you skip messages? Darren, there's 100 people in the chat, mate. I'm doing my best. Where's your message? Nick from Prestige Exterior replied to my comment in his video explaining the setup for flat surface cleaner. Sent you the link months ago in capital letters. Okay. I mean, Harry said the same thing. Nick from Prestige Exterior replied to my comment in his video explaining the setup. I already sort of read it, and I skimmed over your message and it said the same thing. But like, give me a break, mate. I'm doing my best. The amount of messages I get every day from different people asking for help and advice and have a look at this and that, and it's like, it's a lot, mate. I'm doing my best. The patio's laid badly. True. True. Jack, would you do his course and make a video about it? I don't think he'd want me to do that. The course is like it'd be like a, you wouldn't go on a course and then explain the content of the course in a video afterwards. That'd be a little bit shitty. But also I'm not really sure that I see the benefit of washing a fake roof from the ground. I think he does go through the setup, like how to set the tower up, and I think I've seen him setting a tower up in a car park, which is useful. Using all the same equipment, but it's sort of on the ground on a fake roof that's already sort of clean. I would prefer to have a bit of hands-on training, which is so much more difficult to do, and your insurance probably wouldn't cover it. But I'd prefer to have hands-on training up on a roof doing a proper roof job. Personally, I'm sure there's a lot you can learn with his method. That's just my personal opinion, but there's definitely going to be some value there. Give Jakey a break, it's all free knowledge. I mean, you say it's free. As soon as this gets saved onto the channel, turn the ads on, I'll earn at least £4 from this. Because you're being forced to watch YouTube adverts. Why are you ignoring my abuse? I turned my DMs off, it's been bliss. Skiatch did a course today, been all over Facebook. Who? Skyvac. Skyvac did a course today, been all over Facebook. What do you mean, Arden? What are you saying? What are you saying? Someone's been like slating the course on Facebook, or they're talking about their course on Facebook. Jake, hi man, love your videos. What Gutavac are you running these days? Still the budget one, or have you upgraded? I don't recommend the budget one. Don't do that. It's not worth the time it takes to try and convert that little Titan vacuum and all the troubles you're going to have with it. The wrong hose stuff. Yeah, it's not going to be effective. I would get a Panther from Gutter Vacuum Systems personally. That's the one I've got. I've had it for a couple of years, more than a couple of years now. Still going strong. We've absolutely battered it. We've used it to like suck water up from driveways that have been flooded. We've carried it up onto roofs. It's, you know, it's been battered. It's been absolutely battered. Probably using the wrong filter on it 50% of the time, and it's still going strong. You've got the Panther, just curious. Okay. I do also have the GVS 3600, but I'm not using that at the minute. I'd only really use that on commercial stuff because it's just too big for my van. It's not too big for my van, it's just too heavy and bulky for me to want to get it in and out every day, you know what I mean? Skyvac offering roof cleaning courses now. Really? Is that a bad thing? I think I'm going to call it there, guys. We've been going for just over 2 hours. I wish I could have spoke to Ashley for longer. It's a shame. I thought the chat was going well, but he was keen to leave. Maybe we'll do it again. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting me. I can't believe there's like the donations tonight as well. That's unexpected. Mick and Bonsoon. Thank you so much. Very, very kind of you. Thank you for the subscriptions. I'm going to try and get a video out for Monday. It's going to be a very cool one. Just got to finish the job this week, and then I can edit it and get it out for Monday. Have a great week, everyone. Make it a really good one. Work hard. Focus. Achieve your goals. Set goals first, and then work towards achieving them, I suppose. Thank you, Ben. Cheers. Darren. Craig. Full house of girls. Oh no.